After many years of fighting, you got your bracelet. How does that feel?
Feels unreal, to be honest. Like, still, I know it was a few weeks ago now, but it still feels like yesterday. I can remember it so clearly, and like, I don't know. I waited like 11 years of playing every summer at the World Series for this. Had a few near misses, and to finally win was like a dream come true.
And you did a heads up against a Brazilian guy. Yeah. How was to face that rail against you?
Yeah, it was really good for I felt like it was really good for the final table because it was weird. Like the final table, I'd ran so good up to heads up that it was almost an anticlimax. It didn't feel real. It felt like a dream just because like every hand I was flopping quads, flopping the full houses, like making the nuts every hand, stacking people. They'd have a big hand as well. It was just like, and suddenly I was free-handed with all the chips and they were both short and I was just shoving. And obviously most of the time there, I'm just going to like end up winning pretty quickly, but doubled up Bedias, and he, we had a long battle heads up. I think heads up started. He had 53 big blinds, and I had just over 100. And we played for over 3 hours, both rails going back and forth, and it turned into like, I mean, if I'd have come second, I would have been hurting. But like the fact that I ended up winning after like a 3-hour heads up made it even sweeter. Like, because it was just like, it wasn't like before that. It was almost too easy. It was like just like, like you could dream for it, but it didn't feel real. So yeah, it was nice to have a long battle, a tough battle against a tough player, and it was really great that both rails got into it as well.
And what did you think of the game of Bedias?
Yeah, he played really tough. Like I felt like a few times he should have paid me off in some spots, and he made some big folds and was right every time. And then I thought, okay, now I'm going to try and bluff him. And then I tried to bluff him, and he called me. So it was definitely a tough match, and I was just trying to make sure that he never got the chip lead. He got close a few times, but luckily I was able to grind him down eventually, and found a big hand when he shoved, and it held. So it was definitely a tough match, and it was great occasion.
And which tournament tips did you give to the UK qualifier to the main event?
I just wasn't really trying to say strategy so much because, this is the day before the tournament. I'm not trying to ram in a bunch of strategies to his head because it's just going to confuse him. So I was just trying to I gave him actually an example of when my dad won a live tournament, and he'd never really played a big live tournament before. He played a little bit online, but he played a much bigger buy-in than he was ever used to, and he came in there. I just told him to relax going in, just don't be nervous, enjoy it. And that's what he did. He had fun with it, and he was actually, fortunate enough to take it all down and win the whole tournament. So I felt like that was the best advice I could give him, was just to enjoy it. Like he didn't, a few weeks ago, he didn't even expect to be here, and now he's living his dream out in Vegas. Never been to Vegas before, let alone the World Series of Poker main event, played in that. So yeah, he's just so excited and happy to be here. So I just said the main thing was to enjoy it and just have no regrets and just have fun. And poker's a crazy game, anything can happen.
And in this WSOP, we're having 3 online events, right? Do you think this event should award bracelets just like the live ones?
I'm not sure. I actually went deep in 2 of them, and obviously they're re-entry as well. So you can also in the 4 hours of rebuys. So some people might buy a stack in some of the cheaper ones as well. So I don't know I think maybe it devalues it a little bit, but obviously, if I had won, I still would have loved it. So it's hard to say. Obviously, tag teams, interesting concept as well. But does that devalue it? Who knows? But I like that they're trying new things, and it keeps it fresh and exciting. And I've enjoyed the online events. They've been actually really good value and lots of runners. So yeah, I'm all for it really.